now it seems that the review of the death penalty given to one of the accused in the Nirbhaya gang rape case has been rejected. Supreme Court, the three-judge bench, which sat on the matter in the morning, heard the lawyer of the accused Akshay in this case and has now decided to reject the review plea. This pretty much brings the legal recourse available to all these convicts, the 4 convicts in this case, to just 1 at this point. And this could also mean that this is now pretty much the end of the legal route available to these convicts in this case. Just to take you quickly through the matter and how it has progressed so far. Remember, it's been almost 7 years since that dreadful night. And finally, now the legal recourse available to these convicts against the death penalty seems to be closing in. Sunil Prabhu with us on the phone line for more. Sunil, take us through the details.
Well, basically, 2-3 important points. The Supreme Court says that the grounds that had earlier been considered while dismissing the earlier review petitions, all these issues were well considered by the trial court and the High Court and the Supreme Court. It's also said that they don't find any error in the 2017 verdict. And my colleague, Vaidyanathan, spoke to Nirbhaya's mother, who responded saying it is good. We have gone a step further. She was in the courtroom when the Supreme Court heard this matter. This now brings to an end and really sets the stage for what is now called the final proceeding in terms of the issue of the death warrant, as it's called the black warrant. And we have been told by our sources in the Delhi police that the likely date for execution will be 28th of December. That, of course, is subject to the jail authorities finishing all the formalities. But that's the procedure as of now. We will wait for a full details. But the Supreme Court has rejected this plea and the petitioners. This means that anybody else who have been accused does not get an opportunity in this entire case.
And Sunil, at the moment, now that the plea has been dismissed, there is still an option of a curative petition, and then there is the President's mercy plea as well.
Well, in criminal cases, the chances of a curative petition are really not there. That's very rarely used a curative petition that can be, and it's a subject, of course, to the court. The Supreme Court has already, as you're well, will be breaking for the winter break from today. So I don't think that's much of an option. And I think all possible reviews in terms of a criminal proceeding have been completed in terms of the legal recourse for these people who have been convicted for that horrific rape that took place in the heart of South Delhi. So that option now, Sonal, is over. We will have to wait now for a final verdict. The court will have to issue the black warrant or the death warrant, as it's called. And as I said, the execution, subject to the Plea jail authorities and making preparations, is likely to take place on the 28th of December or any other suitable date which is acceptable to the jail.
In fact, also news coming in, Sunil, from Vaidyanathan, who's still inside the court, telling us that the petitioner's lawyer has wanted, in fact, asked for 3 weeks to file a mercy plea in front of the president, but that got a counter from the government lawyer who said 1 week should be enough. The Supreme Court then responded saying, as per the law, petitioner can avail timed relief for mercy petition. So you're right, it seems like they're not going in for a curative plea at this point, but deciding to file for a mercy plea with the president.
Well, it's nothing about being right or wrong, Sonal. It's about a procedure. Mercy petition, there is no curative petition in a criminal case. And of course, in this issue of, as you rightly pointed out, a mercy petition, they have an option to appeal to the President of India. The government can consider the matter and send it and then reject it. There have been proceedings already that have been started in terms of mercy petition which have gone to the President, and they will definitely take a decision on that at the earliest. But as I said, these are rarest of rare cases. Application of minds has been done, and unlike President Kalam, who had refused to take a decision on mercy petitions, and that dated back from Shankar Dayal Sharma to President K.R. Narayanan, there has been no real decisions that have been taken after that in terms of delaying mercy petitions. There's a Supreme Court verdict which has come out in that regard, and that's the reason why now we see mercy petitions being rejected at the earliest and a decision taken in this regard.
And Sunil, you talk about how you're picking up from Delhi police that 28th is the day of the execution already. Could you take us through how exactly the date is out, and how do we know more about that?
No, these are based on they expect the verdict to be they expected the verdict as it is, and they say that the time proceedings that is required. But as I said, the final authority in terms of execution will be the Tihar jail authorities. As per the manual, the jail superintendent is the person who will take a call on this matter. He or she is the one who decides on this issue, and whoever the superintendent of the jail will decide in consultation with following the manual to the T. And of course, these are decisions which are taken in consultation with the Home Ministry. And then, of course, given the situation, they will go ahead with this decision.
All right. And Sunil, we also made to understand they will have to seek a death warrant, and that will have to come from the Patiala House Court. Yes,
that's right. The death warrant has to be issued. And once that warrant is issued, then the proceedings are given. So it will not be correct to give a specific date, though Delhi police officials informally say 28th. But as I said, the real authority on this is the jail authority, is the jail superintendent, who will consult the Delhi state government and the Home Ministry about the execution of this.
All right, Sunil, thanks so much for joining us. Vaidyanathan also now out of court and joins us for more on this. Vaidya, take us through what happened.
A three-judge bench affirmed the earlier judgment, saying that there are no merits and dismissed the review petition. So basically they said this review petition not to rehear the whole thing. So all the grounds taken by the petitioner have already been argued, and even the trial court, high court, even Supreme Court all upheld the contention. So there is no point in reopening it. And they said, we don't find any reason to review our decision. So petition is dismissed. So finally what happened? The Akshay Kumar's lawyer wanted 3 weeks time to be given so that he can approach the President with the mercy petition. This was objected by the Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, saying that normally 1 week is given. But anyway, court said we can file a mercy petition, the time limit according to law. So the government is saying it's 1 week. So within a week, probably you may file a mercy petition with the President.
But that's only for this one convict, Vaidya. Is that correct? We don't know what the other three will be doing.
Exactly. You are absolutely right. As for this convict is concerned, you will file a mercy petition. So we'll have to wait and see whether the other three will file a mercy petition or not. Anyway, I have been told this Patiala court is also hearing the same case on issuing a death warrant. So probably there things can be little clear there, whether they file the mercy petition, whether they want to, everything will be known.
And whether it is safe to say at this point that no legal recourse is left for all the four at this point. The only hope for them at the moment is the President's mercy plea.
No, we can't say there is no legal recourse. So the last legal course, of course, a curative petition. We have to wait and see whether they file a curative or not. They have a week's time, they will have to decide. So legally curative petition, and other side is mercy petition with the President. These are the two legal options.
All right. And Patiala House Court, Vaidya, could you take us through what exactly they are sitting on? They get to decide on the death warrant?
So I am basically in Supreme Court, may not be able to divulge much information. What I know is the Patiala Court was supposed to sit today, any death sentence given. So the trial court which heard the case passes a death warrant. Only of the warrant to fix as a time for execution. So that was supposed to be passed yesterday. Since Supreme Court was hearing it has been deferred today. So it was supposed to be at 2 o'clock. So I think parents over here, they're also rushing to the Patiala court. So we will be knowing more details once the trial court decides.
And whether you also managed to get a word with Nirbhaya's mother, Asha Devi, what did she say?
I can say it in Hindi, what she said, "Acha hua, ye kadam aage badh rahe hain." So basically she was saying that it's a good thing, we have been waiting, so we have going a step further. Basically she's indicating it's a step towards the execution. That's what basically the execution, the parents wanted the execution at the earliest because of the long waiting. So finally today she said it's a step closer to the execution.
And were there also in the arguments that the lawyer of Akshay put out in court today, he's raised up the issue of new facts, the dying declaration not coming. In fact, just hold on with us. We have the lawyer speaking on camera now. Let's just listen in.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट
आपकी दलील में इसलिए खारिज किया गया, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ये कहा है।
क्या कहा?
मेरिट नहीं थी।
सुप्रीम कोर्ट में सभी मेरिट्स थी, लेकिन मुझे ये समझ में आ रहा है जनता के दबाव के आगे सारी मेरिट्स खत्म हो जाती हैं।
सुप्रीम कोर्ट जनता के दबाव में,
जनता के दबाव, पब्लिक प्रेशर, सुप्रीम कोर्ट के चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया ने कल केस को ट्रांसफर किया, दूसरी कोर्ट में लगाया। उन्होंने कहा था, उन्होंने जोधपुर के कार्यक्रम में भी कहा था मुख्य न्यायाधीश ने, कई बार तथ्य और सबूत सब अच्छे होते हैं। वो मंदिर की सुनवाई के में भी उन्होंने कहा था कि सबूत तथ्य तो होते हैं, लेकिन कई बार सबूत तथ्य के आधार पर फैसला नहीं हो पाता है। निर्भया गैंग रेप केस में नहीं, सुप्रीम इसके बाद ये दिख रहा, देखिए ये फांसी का जो नोटिस जारी किया दिल्ली सरकार ने अपनी राजनीति के लिए किया, क्योंकि और भी केस दिल्ली में ऐसे फांसी के लिए, सुनिए, फांसी के लिए और केस पड़े हुए हैं जिनकी रिव्यू भी डिसमिस हो चुकी है, क्यूरेटिव भी डिसमिस हो चुकी है, राष्ट्रपति की दया याचिका भी डिसमिस हो चुकी है। उनके केसों की फांसी की बात, उनके केस के लिए फांसी की बात नहीं की जा रही है, केवल इसी केस।
All right, that was the lawyer who was arguing for one of the convicts, Akshay, in this case. And at the moment, the big breaking news is that now all the 4 convicts in the Nirbhaya gang rape case have exhausted their death plea review. That means at the moment, there is an option of a curative petition, which is a second review of sorts in the court. And the other option, as we already know now for Akshay, at least as his lawyer put out in court, is that he wants to ask for a mercy plea from the president. The time allotted for that is about a week or so. And in that time, we know at least one of these 4 are approaching the president to ask for mercy from the death penalty. What happens next is going to be interesting to be watched out for. At the moment, Nirbhaya's parents are, we are told, also making their way to Patiala House Court, where the death warrant will be looked into. Remember, this was being kept on hold because Akshay's lawyer had approached the Supreme Court for a review. Now that the Supreme Court has rejected that review, it is back to the Patiala House Court, which actually heard this matter in the first place and gave death for all. Remember, we are flashing the names of 4 convicts on your screen right now. The 5th one, Ram Singh, had committed suicide, according to police, inside Tihar jail. What happens next? What will Patiala House Court do? Will they give a date? We're also picking up from our reporters that the final authority on deciding of the date of execution will come from Tihar jail. And that will come after the death warrant has been issued by Patiala House Court. Nirbhaya's parents, responding to the verdict from Supreme Court, said that they are happy. This is one step closer to the execution. Execution which they've been asking for the past 7 years. An execution which they've been desperate for even more after the recent cases of gang rape which emerged in the country. The cases like Telangana, in Unnao. Time and again, the parents of Nirbhaya have been talking about how they believe quick justice delivery is what they need and is perhaps the need of the hour. Vaidyanathan joining us now live from the Supreme Court. Vaidyanathan, we've just heard the lawyer of Akshay as well. He talks about in court at least that now they will be approaching the president for a review and precedent for a mercy plea. But like we've been saying, it's just one. We don't know at this point what the other three are going to do. At the moment, one of these four accused at least have decided to approach the president for a mercy plea.
As far as the Supreme Court is concerned, today it has dismissed the review petition filed by Akshay Kumar Singh, saying that there are no grounds, there is no need to reopen its 2017 verdict. The court went on to say the grounds are already argued both in the trial court, high court as well as in the Supreme Court, and said it finds no grounds to entertain the review petition and dismissed it. So after that, Mr. AP Singh, the lawyer for the convict, he wanted 3 weeks time to be given so that he can approach the president with a mercy petition. This was supposed to be the Solicitor General, Mr. Tushar Mehta, who appeared for the government. He said that only a week is normally given. But finally, court said they are not going to specify any time limit. Court only said that he can avail of the other any relief, whatever the time permitted under law. So it seems within a week he will be filing a mercy petition with the president. Once the president decides, then only the execution will have to take place.
And there is no time limit to that, is there, Vidya? On president deciding.
A time limit for the, there is no time limit for the president to decide the mercy petition. But if you just go back, recently president has said in a public function saying that mercy petitions of particularly the rapists should not be entertained. So you can read his mind. But interesting to know, even the Supreme Court's earlier judgment said if there is a long delay of deciding a mercy petition by the president, then it can be commuted to life sentence. This happened in Rajiv Gandhi killer's case.
Right. So in this case, at least, well, the President Ramnath Kovind has pretty much made his mind clear, so we know which way it is going. But at the moment, we can say that one of the four accused, at least, is going to be trying for that mercy plea. Whether also take us through what exactly were the arguments put out by the lawyer of Akshay Kumar. There were some bizarre ones, really, but some about fresh revelations, one about the book that has now come out by the former jailer of Tihar Jail. And what exactly was the response that Supreme Court gave to that?
The lawyer for the convict pointed out, number one, it's Delhi, huge pollution, water is poisonous, already people are dying, why should be a death penalty? And secondly, he said the new evidence has come out. He pointed out a book by a former police officer. And thirdly, he said is the time, taking into the new evidence, court should review its 2017 judgment awarding death penalty. But this was opposed by the Solicitor General. Of course, court saying that a person who retired from the post, that too writing a book on this case, when trial is over and the judgment was delivered, the court said they will not go by any book or any other material. And finally, delivering the judgment, court has said that all the issues raised by the petitioner's lawyer had already been decided by the trial court, high court as well as the Supreme Court, and said no grounds to go into this petition and open the case and review it. So finally dismissing the petition.
And whether if you recollect, 2018 is when the death penalty was upheld by the Supreme Court. They even in July in 2018 dismissed the review petition of the other three convicts. So technically speaking and legally speaking at this point, there is an option of curative petition like we said, but will that be exercised? Do we have an indication on that?
See, once the review petitions are dismissed, the last legal option is a curative petition. So it's for the convicts to decide whether to file a curative petition or not. But once if they file a curative petition, it's pending, then execution cannot take place. Same as the case with the mercy petition. If one or all the four file a mercy petition with the president, during the pendency, execution should not take place. This is a legal position.
All right. And also, where they are at this point, as they make their way to Patiala House Court, we've been told that that's where the death warrant will be issued. And with just your experience of how it's been going so far, and the mood perhaps of the president also known at this point. Any indication? Our colleague Sunil Prabhu earlier was saying that his Delhi police sources are indicating the date of the 28th, but it's not official yet. Is this something that he's picking up from his sources at this point? But you would say at this point it's hard to say what that is going to be?
तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने मौका दिया और सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने उनका सुना, इसके बाद फैसला दिया। और अब उनके लॉयर ये बोल रहे हैं कि वो क्यूरेटिव पिटीशन भी फाइल करेंगे, वो प्रेसिडेंट के पास भी जाएंगे। इसके बारे में क्या बोलना चाहिए? देखिए, अब उसका टाइम उन्होंने गंवा दिया है, 1 साल पूरा बैठ के, क्योंकि 18 महीने रिव्यू तीनों की खारिज हुए हो गई। इनके पास 18 महीने टाइम था रिव्यू करने का, क्यूरी करने का, इन्होंने नहीं किया। जेल में 7 दिन का डेट नोटिस किया था कि इसमें 7 दिन के अंदर सब मर्सी पटिशन जिसको करना है कर लो, इन लोगों ने नहीं किया, तो ऑलरेडी इन्होंने टाइम खत्म कर दिया है। उम्मीद है कि अब इसी पे इन लोगों का डेट और जारी। 7 साल हो गए हैं, कि आपको लगता है कि आज इस फैसले से इंसाफ हुआ है? बिल्कुल लगता है, क्योंकि इंसाफ के एक कदम और नजदीक हम पहुंच गए।
All right, so that was the mother of Nirbhaya saying happy with the outcome so far, exhausted by the long legal wait at this point, and saying that, well, she does not believe that the court should be entertaining any further curative petitions at all, and that the time limit to approach the president for a mercy plea is just about a week. So we'll have to wait and watch for that. Vaidyanathan still with us from Supreme Court. Vaidya, what exactly for you stood out in the hearing today as the court was listening in to the arguments from the lawyer, and then what the court had to say as well? We also saw a change in the bench. Just yesterday, the CJI had to recuse himself.
See, yesterday this case was listed before a Chief Justice bench along with Justices Bhanumati as well as Ashok Bhushan, who were part of the original bench which delivered the verdict in 2017, along with the then Chief Justice of India, Justice Deepak Mishra. So yesterday when the case started, then Chief Justice, after going through the lawyers' names, he found out one of his family members was associated with cases with the victims as a victim's lawyer. So then he thought he recused. Normally practice in the Supreme Court is if some of the friends of the lawyer or family members involved in a case, normally they withdraw from hearing the case. So same thing happened yesterday, and he constituted a bench which took up the case. Chief Justice was replaced with Justice A.S. Bopanna, who along with the Justices Bhanumati and Ashok Bhushan heard the case. But during the course of the argument, of course, Solicitor General Tushar Mehta made a remark saying that no leniency should be shown to the convict. Even God would have ashamed for creating such a monster. These were the exact words of the Tushar Mehta. Of course, finally, court not agreeing with the petitioner and dismissing the review petition.
Right, and some of those arguments quite bizarre, really, and we've seen quite a few of that from the lawyer of Akshay Kumar, even in Patiala House Court for that matter. So that's that at the moment. All the 4 accused in the Nirbhaya, in fact, the convicts in the Nirbhaya gang rape case have exhausted their review pleas as well. Now, one of them at least saying that they will be going to the president asking for a mercy plea. We wait for what happens next. Will there be a death warrant issued by Patiala House Court? And will now, the proceedings really and what happens next will be decided also by the death warrant that will be given by the Patiala House Court. They were listening into a matter which was waiting on what the Supreme Court decides. Now that the Supreme Court has made up its mind, Patiala House Court will be free to give out a death warrant. We wait for that to happen, likely to be taken up in some time from now in Delhi's Patiala House Court. And later then of what Tihar jail decides on what the date of the execution will be. That's in the case that the president decides not to give them the mercy over their death penalty. Nirbhaya's mother, who's had a long wait for justice, also was in the court today. This is what she said soon after stepping out.
मैं वो रिव्यू कर तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने मौका दिया और सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने उनका सुना, इसके बाद फैसला दिया। और अब उनके लॉयर ये बोल रहे हैं कि वो क्यूरेटिव पिटीशन भी फाइल करेंगे, वो प्रेसिडेंट के पास भी जाएंगे। इसके बारे में क्या बोलना चाहिए? देखिए, अब उसका टाइम उन्होंने गंवा दिया है, 1 साल पूरा बैठ के, क्योंकि 18 महीने रिव्यू तीनों की खारिज हुए हो गई। इनके पास 18 महीने टाइम था रिव्यू करने का, क्यूरी करने का, इन्होंने नहीं किया। जेल में 7 दिन का डेट नोटिस किया था कि इसमें 7 दिन के अंदर सब मर्सी पटिशन जिसको करना है कर लो, इन लोगों ने नहीं किया तो ऑलरेडी इन्होंने टाइम खत्म कर दिया है। और उम्मीद है कि अब इसी पे इन लोगों का डेट और जारी। 7 साल हो गए, क्या आपको लगता है कि आज इस फैसले से इंसाफ हुआ है? बिल्कुल लगता है, क्योंकि इंसाफ के एक कदम और नजदीक हम पहुंच गए।
All right, that was the mother of Nirbhaya. If you're just joining in, let me quickly recap what's happened in the past half an hour or so. Supreme Court, a 3-judge bench today, sat down to decide upon the review plea of the death penalty awarded to one of the 4 convicts in the Nirbhaya gang rape case. There were arguments put out by the lawyer of Akshay, who came out to say that there were several grounds on which the review petition should be looked into. Number one, he said there were fresh details emerging and that he wants the role of the friend of Nirbhaya who was in that bus that dreadful night of December 16, 2012 to be looked into. He's also talked about how there was a CBI inquiry given in this case that should have been done. Number 3, he talked about how the dying declaration of Nirbhaya did not name anybody and that's why it should not be taken seriously. And also number 4, he talked about how the Constitution stands against death penalty and tries to raise that. All those 4 grounds have been now declined by the Supreme Court. They say that they stand by their earlier order, both of the High Court and of the Supreme Court, and they've gone ahead by declining that review. We have with us now Mihira Sood, lawyer from Supreme Court. Ma'am, your first thoughts on what Supreme Court has decided today?
I don't find the verdict surprising. I don't think that there were any real grounds for review. While I do stand against the death penalty, I do not think that any of the arguments that were made out for reversal of the actual conviction stood on any kind of footing and deserved to be rejected by the court.
All right. And ma'am, how do you see this panning out when they are saying that they will be approaching the president for a mercy plea, when the president himself has made a stand very public that he believes that especially in the cases of rape, death penalty should not be put on hold for very long?
See, that is their right to approach the president, and certainly anybody facing a death sentence should have that right. And I do not think that it is appropriate for even the president to have indicated that he has kind of prejudged the issue.
All right,
thank you. To that extent, I don't think that what the president has done, in terms of making his opinions on the issue without the file even having reached him clear. They have a right to approach the president, and it is for the president to take a reasoned decision based on the issues and the evidence before him. Personally, as I said, I stand against the death penalty.
Yes.
But I do think that obviously the accused deserve a severe punishment.
All right. Thank you, Mihira Sood, for joining us with the latest. That's the breaking news at this point. All 4 convicts in the Nirbhaya gang rape case have now been declined a review death penalty. We're going to slip into a break. News continues on the other side.